That's why I'm talking to Stan today, man. I think it's good to put this as a moment in time to really deal with some of the issues. I believe in him personally. I've met some dog trainers and they're boring as fuck, to say the least. They lack charisma. And the one thing I've sold and told him many times, as I even watched the other, episodes, you was on Top Dog, right?
Yeah.
Top Dog USA, you've been invited to a few other places, but it is something about this man's joy and love for his dogs that speaks to me personally. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the person that you can put in a place to do 10 mil.
Yeah.
10 mil long term, because people will want to watch that. And if those who pay attention, this dude really loves that dog shit. You know what I mean? Like, fucking being on the ground, getting bit, like the acting of it, the going through the motions. So part of my challenge and job as an associate of his is to really show him how to highlight that skill, take it to the next level.
Yeah. And I think you've done a good job about that. Like you said, you kind of pushed me in ways that I knew I should be going, but I wasn't sure about it. It was like I just would doubt it myself. Like, because when I would try, I'd get, little man, for a lack of better words. And it's like, well, maybe I'm not as good as I am. But you showcase that. And, like you said, you've been around a lot of other people. You've been in a lot of different spaces. And, I mean, you've seen stuff, and we continue to do business to this day. And it's like, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't waste your time unless you saw some value in that. You're not that kind of person.
Yeah, and Stan X-Dog, he said the other day, just said, you're a human enhancer. And I only see the value in people I believe have value. If I don't see nothing in you, I'm as silent as a motherfucking wall.
Yeah.
You sit next to, there's nothing I could, because I don't care how much technicalities, all this other, I know some very highly intelligent individuals. I'm talking about motherfuckers that know everything, but they suck charismatically. And nobody will ever listen. Mm-hmm. Like he could know every atom in the world, but if he got in front of people, nobody would want to hear what he had to say. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between being very good at what you know and what you do, and then being scalable to the masses. And, I do believe still that you have that capability, which is why I'm still pushing him to this day to just, hey, we got to tighten up the thing. I know how much noise is out there. I'm learning more about the noise level. But I just tune it out. So I don't necessarily know how to deal with it in that way, because I just don't give a shit. That's to say the least. And I think the other thing too, and talk a little bit about this. Averagely and very commonly, people like the idea of being liked. I know you're a likable person, and I think early on, starting out, especially with where you started at, specific on the dog training side, you wanted to be liked a lot. Mm-hmm. And we worked through some of those things as well, because being liked and being in business are two different things.
Oh, very much so. they don't go hand in hand. I mean, I thought they did, because at the end of the day, you necessarily don't have to like the person that's training you to lift weights or training your dog, but if they're giving you what you expect, and at the end of the day, the product, the market's going to speak for itself, and you take your emotions out of it, you take your feelings out of it, because you don't have to like me, but if you want your dog to do certain things, this is how it's got to be. Yeah. And there's going to be no room for interpretation, because that's the worst place. If having a miscommunication between people, it's even worse when it's between the dog. Like, what got me into dog training is I had a dog get hit by a car. Yeah. And he got out the front door, had no recall. I did what everybody thought you were supposed to do. You chased the dog. Hey, come here, come here, come here. And he's like, oh, shit, this is a lot of fun. And he kept going and kept going. And I kept chasing him and kept chasing him. And then we was in Louisiana, and he met a truck. And he's probably, no farther than you are from me. And it's just like, fuck. Like, I literally couldn't do anything to keep my dog from getting ran over by a truck. And I never wanted that to happen again. So when I'm saying things the way that I am, or when I do things and it's like, look, it has to be this way, it's because that command can literally save your dog's life. If my dog had a recall, I'd still have it.
Yeah. That truck only take one good hit, people, just so you know. Mm-hmm. And that is a terrible feeling in terms of being helpless.
Very much so.
That's what it's like. It's like, I cannot help my dog. I can't help myself right now. And you're just praying for the best, and then boom, tragedy strikes. Yep. And you got to deal with that.
Yep. Going forward, it's like you come home and the kid's like, "Where's the dog?" And it's like,
fuck, damn. I don't even know what to tell y'all, man. I don't know how to put this into words.
Yeah.
So recall, would you say that's one of the most important commands?
I think it's the most important command. Having be able to call your dog back and letting them know that they're supposed to get to you. Because again, there's just so many opportunities, so many instances. Somebody's afraid of dogs, they jump the wrong way, they get scratched. Now your dog has to go do a bite quarantine. If that happens twice, they put your dog down. But if your dog gets out the front door and you go, here, and they go, oh shit, everybody's safe. Everybody's there, it's just so much more stuff you can do when you have a recall on your dog.
Good.